Good morning, Hari Om. Alright, so hope you had a great evening and good night's sleep and ready for the exciting day today. If you realize, we are talking about the astronomy evidence from Mahabharata. A day is gone by and we have not talked about any astronomy evidence yet, a specific evidence, okay. So we are going to accelerate a bit and we are going to go through lots of astronomy evidence, but not all the 215 astronomy evidence, okay. Now yesterday at a very high level, we did go through say about 50 observations, but I ask you to take this on a leap of faith. Say, trust me, whatever I am saying is true. Arundhati Vasishta leads you to here, Bhishma Nirvan leads you to here. This morning we are actually going to look at how that is the case, okay. What is it that leads us to that specific timeline? Before that, we started yesterday with the lunisolar calendar. We have not completed that. So I am going to go a bit fast through it, what we did. And then I also want again volunteers to come in and do some additional aspects, okay. So the volunteers are not here yet. I already have assigned volunteers. So you can relax for a while, okay. So in this module, we will learn the quick world of astronomy, celestial objects of our solar system. Now a number of you may know this, but those of you who don't, it's a quick introduction, okay. Now those of you who know it, you might also be surprised by some of the relative sizes of our planets and relative size to the sun and so on and so forth, okay. Then we will talk about the celestial reference frame, 27 nakshatras. That's our system, 27 nakshatras. There are 28, but we are not going to talk unless I refer to it, okay. The 28th nakshatra of Abhijit. It's very important, by the way. It's very critical for the chronology of ancient civilization, Indian civilization. We will see the relationship between 27 nakshatras and the 12 zodiac, okay. Very, very close relationship. We have done some of this yesterday, like what is the reference point? I said the sun's orbit around the earth. Now everyone knows the sun is not rotating around the earth, but I will be using that terminology back and forth. Sometime I will say earth is going around the sun, you know what I mean. Then I will say the sun is going around the earth, you know exactly what I mean. Just seen from the earth that time. So ecliptic is the sun's path through the sky as seen from the earth, and that becomes the reference frame. It is the ecliptic, there is nothing else. And ecliptic is an extremely stable reference frame. Our relative position to the sun has not changed for millions of years. Lot of things are happening on the earth. Lot of things are, dinosaurs are coming and getting destroyed. But our position with respect to the sun has not changed, okay. So ecliptic is very important, is our reference frame. Then we briefly talked yesterday sidereal and synodic lunar months, okay. So I'm going to quickly walk you through. Then solstices, I think that's where we did and that's where we stopped, the summer solstice, winter solstice, and then the equinoxes, okay. Vasanta Sampat, Sharada Sampat, and Dakshinayana Bindu, Uttarayana Bindu, okay. But I'll stick with solstices and equinoxes, but that's what I mean. The solar year, we talked about that. The precession of the Earth's axis, we have not talked about it. This is the crux. If there is one simple fundamental point to the whole astronomy and the whole archaeoastronomy or the Indian astronomy, it is the world astronomy, even the pyramids or the Mayan monuments. To understand Stonehenge, to understand anything, it is the precession of the Earth's axis. Now you might have heard the term precession of equinoxes. It's the same thing that we are talking, okay. So the precession of the Earth's axis, that we have not done yet, we are going to do that. And the last point, very important. So what is this precession of the Earth's axis does to the archaeoastronomy research? So in effect we are saying, what is that precession of Earth's axis or precession of equinoxes, and its effect on the seasons, its effects on the seasons and the lunar month, its effects on the stars, its effects on the relative positions of the stars as seen from the earth, and that's where the Arundhati Vasishta explanation comes. So for everything, understanding precession of the earth's axis or precession of equinoxes is very important. See, just quickly notice the difference. We also use the word precision, P-R-E-C-I-S-I-O-N. That's like a very fine accuracy and so on. Here you are using the word precession, which means a movement. Okay, the movement of the earth's axis. That is what it's referring to. All right. Now, we have to make some simple assumptions. Okay, if we don't make those assumptions, we might just get stuck something, oh, but hold on, that is moving, how can you do this, and so on and so forth. Remember, in the world of astronomy, everything is changing and everything is moving. Okay, it's a very dynamic problem. Okay, three-body problem, multi-body problem, everything is moving, everything is changing. So, it's really a miracle that in spite of that, we can use this for time calculations and so on and so forth. Not only that, but let me give you the other side of it. Because everything is changing and because everything is moving, that is why allows us to get these specific times like trapped in a certain time frame. That is the reason we can say, based on astronomy, Mahabharata happened here, based on astronomy, Ramayana happened here, based on astronomy, the last portions of Rigveda were possibly written here, based on astronomy, the earliest portions of Rigveda could be written at this time, based on astronomy, the updates or the original writing of Bhagavad Puran or Matsya Puran or Vishnu Puran happened possibly around this time. Are you with me? Okay. But keep in mind, everything is changing, everything is moving. It's a blessing, but it also creates complications. Okay, so just we have to make simple assumptions. The world of astronomy quickly, ready, steady, go. What you see here, these are four friends, they came together in 1975. You can see like the teenagers, the young ones there in this picture here, that picture. And they were so close friends that they made a point to get together periodically and take a picture. Okay, so my point is everything is changing. The same four girls, four friends are taking pictures and they continue to do that, by the way. Okay, so some similar thing in astronomy. This is a drishtanta. Astronomy things are changing. The four individuals are same, but otherwise things are changing. Everything is moving. Can anyone tell me what do you see on the screen there? Huh? What is a star? Star trail, very good. Okay, yeah, and so right. So if you take a what you call long exposure photograph, right, through the night, you will see each star tracks a path. Very good. That's a star trail. Okay. So everything is moving, everything is rotating. If they stop rotating, they won't exist. And this is in the astronomical world, but that's also true of the micro world. Electrons, protons, neutrons, they all have to keep on rotating. Otherwise, they won't exist. So what I'm really saying is, what you're going to see is a useful approximation when we look at this lunar month, tithi, lunar year, solar year. So you have to be ready, willing to say that these two kids are identical. In fact, they are the same. Now, they don't really look same, do they? No. Right? But you should be willing to say that they are almost same, because that's what you have to have, that flexibility in you to understand some of the aspects of astronomy. Okay? Let's look at quickly the planets, sun and the moon. We'll go fast through this. These are the celestial objects. Okay, can anyone identify who they are? This is easy. I'll start here. Okay, the Earth. Very good. Venus. Mercury. Okay. Which one? Yes. Jupiter is bigger than the Earth, but somebody may say, I must be tricking them with the size. Correct. So, Earth, Venus, Mars and Mercury. What you are saying is the relative sizes. Those are truly relative sizes of those. Okay. Now, see, those four are here, what I just showed you. Okay. Who is this? Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, okay, and no, Pluto, forget it, okay, that's fine. That's our sun. And against the sun, you can look at where our planets are, you know. So now do you see the Earth, by the way? Those bottom 4 dots there, one of them is the Earth, okay? Just imagine, that's what we are rotating around the sun. So again, I thought, you know, number of you would have seen this, but if you are not, I mean, if you know this, just see the relative positions, how small we are, and on that Earth we are somewhere here conducting a Mahābhārata workshop, you know, in a small room. Okay. Now, can you see the moon? Yeah, Earth and the moon. So that just gives you the relative size of who they are. Okay. Somebody said, what about the ladies in astronomy, you know? So Arya asked that question. Well, here are all ladies, 27 wives of the moon, okay? So let's talk about the 27 nakshatras. What they are, yesterday we looked at the moon going around the Earth, okay? And it takes 27 days, 27, again I told you approximately, so I'm going to use the word 27, okay? 27 days to complete one cycle. In the sense of, with reference to the Earth, a certain nakshatra, that's where the moon is, to come back to the same nakshatra, it takes 27 days. But to come back to the same phase, meaning Amavasya to Amavasya, it's 27 is not sufficient, it takes slightly longer. We'll come to that. But because it takes 27 days, that's how somebody said, let's have a 27 milestones to track moon's position. Okay. So this is sun at the center. This is the ecliptic. Okay. Now that's where I want you to get comfortable with this. Okay. So this is the sun and this is Earth's orbit around the sun. Okay, so this is a sun-centric position, but after some time I'm going to change it, like Earth at the center and how the thing looks. So stay with me. So also notice Earth's angle. Yeah. So this position, what solstice it is? It is a solstice first, right? And as far as India is concerned, that is what? Summer solstice, 21st June. Everyone follows? Because the northern portion is closer to the sun. I'm using a very crude language, closer to the sun. You know, it's not exactly closer or like that, but sun. Now, moon is rotating around the Earth, very close to it. So now what I have done there is a full moon. You see, now I'm always going to show moon as a full moon. You understand why? If I show the Amavasya moon, you don't see anything there, you know. Okay. So this is at least definitely full moon because it's exactly opposite to the sun. Are you with me? Between Earth is in between, moon, sun on one side, moon on the other side. Now, just for as example, I showed you the moon of Amavasya. It just looks like a box there, okay, because nothing. Now, now what happens is, if you want to say, okay, but where is sun with respect to the Earth? Now, how many of you have seen a panchang and read through it for some time? Or once in a while, no? Some of you have not, okay. Okay, that's fine. Those of you who have not, how many of you know your Janma Nakshatra? Raise your hand. Janma Nakshatra? Okay. So, let's say, Sushriji, what is your Janma Nakshatra? No, you don't have to get up, unless it's a tradition here, but Ashwini. Okay, you should go and sit next to her. Okay. So, her Nakshatra is a Ashwini Nakshatra. So, do you remember the Tithi? No, okay. So, her Nakshatra was Ashwini. So, what that meant is, forget the Tithi, whether it was a Purnima, Amavasya or in between. But when she was born, if somebody would have standing on the earth, would have looked at the moon and drawn a line up in the sky to see which Nakshatra is there next to the moon, it was Ashwini. Okay. Now, the nakshatras that I am going to draw, these are some stars. Okay. The nakshatra is defined in a two-way. A certain space in the sky. This is a later development, but initially they meant certain stars. Now, you know, when we go from say here to Puravam, right? Puravam? Piruvam, sorry, never mind. Okay. Approximation, guys. Okay. Close enough. Piruvam, thank you. So, we go to Piruvam. What kind of instructions we go? Go straight through the gate until you hit the road, take left. Keep on going until you come to the Rajiv Gandhi, Indira Gandhi temple, right? Have you seen Rajiv Gandhi, Indira Gandhi temple there? Okay. Take a right turn. take a right turn. You know, isn't that what you're saying? Now, they are not exactly equally spaced, yeah, but we use the roadblocks. Similarly, in the initial thing was, okay, that star, that combination of stars, that's how it started. But then over time, it became a perfected thing, and we divided the whole sky 360-degree into 27 equal areas, 13 degree and something, approximately 13 degrees. 13 times 27 will take you close to 360. So, I am going to draw these mansions, okay, in the sky, moon's mansions in the sky, or wives of the moon, and they are 27. Okay. Why 27? Because moon takes 27 days to complete the circle. I am also going to point out that 28 there in the corner, okay. Wherever it is, let it sit there. That is the Abhijit or Vega or Brahma Rashi. My point is, when the day Sushri was born, on that day, if someone was standing on the earth and looked at the moon, and if that person, or looked at the sun for a minute, because that's the arrow it is showing, we would have said, okay, so you know your nakshatra is Ashwini, and therefore, per Indian horoscope tradition, your Rashi would be Mesh, correct? Now, you also have a American, I mean not American, but the Western horoscope, solar Rashi as well, right? What was the date, the English date? March 8. March 8. So, that would be Pisces, right? You know that? Yeah, yours is a Pisces. Everyone follows what I am saying? Okay. So, now on that day when she was born, if somebody on the earth would have looked at the sun, and if it was possible to draw a straight line and see which nakshatra is behind the sun, okay, it would have been that area of a Revati, Uttara Bhadrapada. Everyone follows? Because that is the area of a Pisces. Huh? Now, the person just looks at the sun and now turns and looks at the moon, wherever the moon is, and draw the line and see what nakshatra it is, it would have been Ashwini. That's why her birth nakshatra is Ashwini. You follow? Yeah. Now, when you look from the earth, look at the sun, actually you cannot see the nakshatra because sun is so bright. But once you understand your total chart, how the nakshatras are, you can mathematically estimate, perfectly understand where they are. Everyone follows? Yeah, just like dark night. Okay. So, what we are saying here is, this is what when we say the nakshatra of the sun, today sun is in this nakshatra, today moon is in this nakshatra, we are essentially saying, as seen from the earth, what is the closest nakshatra where the moon is? What is the closest nakshatra where the sun is? Everyone with me? Okay. So, this is our reference frame. Now, it might have come initially for tracking the positions of the moon. Yeah. Use the microphone.
It's 27 nakshatra. When we see the solar Rashi, it's 12. So, do we also see solar nakshatra as 27 also? We could. Because it's a sky map.
Yes.
We could.
We could.
So, when we refer to the solar nakshatra, do we refer to one of the 27?
Yes.
We refer to as one of 27.
Yes, yes.
That's why it doesn't, that 30 days and those 2.5,
yeah.
that difference happens. Yeah.
So we use the same 27 nakshatras to say whether the sun is there. In fact, now the next step is, we are not going to use this 27 nakshatra only for moon and the sun. We are also going to use it for everything else, for the planets. Anything that is moving, we can, including comets, by the way. Okay, including comets. Okay, so and isn't that amazing that our ancient narratives, I call the word narratives, that's a quick English, we get struggle with the English translation. The narrative is, think of that as a, because what is the what is the Western translation? Mythology. I don't want to use the mythology. I don't want to, so you say, oh, call it scriptures. No, scriptures, now, our friend is not here yet. Scriptures has a very specific meaning in the Western context. We always have that struggle. So, scripture is also not right word. So, this is what the word I am saying is coined by Rajo Malhotra. He says, let's call it ancient narratives. Okay. So, we are going to use this reference frame for everything, okay, for planets and whatnot. And that's how the references of planets, sun, moon, comets are noted down in our ancient narratives, Ramayana, Mahābhārata, Harivamsha, Puranas and so on. Okay, so now what I am doing here is just showing you, as you draw a line through the moon, you can see the background nakshatra, and that is the nakshatra of the moon or the sun. Now back to your question. I don't know if it is, I mean you are familiar, but in Maharashtra, I am familiar. For example, when the rain begins right now, or early rain before June, we call it Mrugacha Paus. If you have heard the term, Mrugacha, rain of Mruga. Or then there is a term after some time, like by Bhadrapad or by September, October, they say the Hasta. I mean there is a saying like Hasta kari masta, meaning the rain of Hasta does a good agriculture or something like this. So what is it referring to? Actually it is referring to sun in the Mrugashirsha. Mrugacha Paus is when sun is in the Mrugashirsha. Hastacha Paus is the rain of Hasta is when sun is in the Hasta Nakshatra. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Alright. So now let's quickly make a connect. Any questions on the Nakshatra? Yeah. They see both, and they also see the planets. They also want to know where the planet. That was the moon, because knowing that she is from India, so in the Indian horoscope tradition, the nakshatra is a moon's nakshatra. If you ask, like, do you know your horoscope sign, zodiac sign? Aries? Yeah. So, okay, so you are born in like March, April. See the magic, okay. Okay. So because of the positions you can say that, Now you can say that on the solar chart quickly, because they give 1 month, because sun doesn't move that fast. Moon is making one rotation quickly. So if she says Nakshatra Ashwini, I will not able to say which month she is born. Because that's happening what? Every 27 days. Every 27 days Ashwini Nakshatra is appearing. Okay. But she tells me it was a Ashwini Nakshatra and it was a full moon day. Then I know it's Ashwini Purnima, right? And in our times, when does it come approximately? September, October, somewhere there. You follow? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now what I have not done right now is the names of the nakshatra. Now which one gets the first number? There is no one answer. And the reason there is no one answer is because over time these things change, and we will see why, the precession of equinoxes. Also, you can relate to this, somebody may start the year at summer solstice, somebody may start beginning of the year at the winter solstice, someone may begin the year at the spring equinox, someone may begin the year at a fall equinox or a Sharad Sampat. You think that's enough? No, it's not. Some people, our current tradition, when we start what? Chaitra, Shukla, Pratipada, I mean at least some of the tradition, that is not even a spring equinox. Okay, now it has already even shifted that one, but even when they started, it was the first month of Vasanta Rutu, which means approximately 1 month before the day of Vasanta Sampat. You follow what I am saying? So there are all these various ways of starting the calendars. You see evidence for practically each of this possibility in our Indian narratives. So just knowing that what is not sufficient. You have to know when, what was the context, and which reference point. So which solstice or which equinox they use as a reference point. Okay. So some people say, okay, Nilesh, so I have got 30 minutes, but let me tell you this and tell me my birth year. It's not possible because of the complications like this, Sometime I'll go and the whole talk is when did Mahābhārata War happen or something like this. And some people, I mean, I'm telling there is a fun and humor. They will, my friends, some of them, someone will come to me. I mean, it happened in Atlanta. He says, okay, please, just tell me in my year, what is the year? 5561 BCE, I said. Okay, say, thank you very much. I'm done. I'm gone. Okay. So what? Some people are okay with what? Other people want to know how and why and so on. Okay. So names of nakshatra. So let us say there is no one reference, but our current calendars use Ashwini as the first nakshatra. Okay, so I'm just for that reason, and we will keep on changing this. Okay, which nakshatra is which. So don't try to connect number one is always Ashwini. Can you do that? Nothing like that. But just as a reference, somewhere I have to start because they go in a circle. So I'm going to start here, Ashwini, and let's do this as a group exercise. Okay, first is Ashwini. Next, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrugashirsha, Ardra, Punarvasu, Pushya, someone else, Aslesha, Magha, Purva Falguni, Uttara Falguni, Hasta, Chitra. Very good, very good. Okay, you get brownie points there. Chitra, Swati, Vishakha, Anuradha, Jeshtha, Mula, Purvashada, Uttarashada, Shravan, Dhanishta, Shatataraka or Shatavish, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, Revati. Okay, and one I did not mention is Abhijit. Okay, which is where? Somewhere between Shravan and Dhanishta right now, but it could be, depending on the precision, it might go between Uttarashada and Shravan. Okay, somewhere there. At the time of yesterday, I showed you the one verse there. You know, if you remember, Dhruvam Prajuritam Ghoram Apasavya Pravartate, Chitra Swatyantare Cheva Dishtita Parushagra, Vakranu Vakram Krutvam Cha, Shravane Pavaka Prabha, Brahmyam Nakshatram Ashrityam, what is that? Lohitango Vyavastita. Okay, that at the time of Mahabharata and the first day of the war, the Mars Nakshatra, sorry, the Mars planet was right along the Brahma Rashi. Okay, the descriptions are that precise. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so we did the 27 nakshatras. Now you all remember? Okay, it's a list. But I'll tell you this: our tradition of Rigveda. Okay, this is we were at the education symposium just last month, 12th May, and Professor M.G. Prasad. He's a now mechanical engineering PhD professor, retired from Stevens Institute of Technology. And he gave a wonderful talk on the memory, you know, just the fact that the importance of memory in intellectual pursuits. Okay, I don't know what is the tradition now in India, but when we were growing up, we knew all the multiplication table and this whole thing, you know, multiple. My dad knew many more than I knew, like the fractions and all of this. In America, it's so funny, I don't know if you do the same funny thing, but they give us small cards. 4 times 3 is this. And you say 7 times 2, my daughter goes looking for 7 times 2. Literally I say, why do you not tell these tables, you know, that we did? But, you know, there's no, just like practice. What kind of logic is that? But my point is, the emphasis on memory is taken away. You know, it's there in the book, open book exam and stuff like that. But memory is very important. I mean, Rigveda is a wonderful tradition, the whole thing remembered, but it's not limited to Rigveda. But there were, I mean, if you see the description right in the Mahabharata, that many, as a tapascharya, they knew the whole Mahabharata by heart. They recited. Others wrote it, multiple copies, and gave it to others, the preservation. Others looked focused on a certain portions. In Ramayana, you may know, many times the tradition I have heard in South India, I don't know if it's South India, Sundarkand. They will recite Sundarkand. So some people are focusing only on the Sundarkand. Same thing we have with the Vedas. There is a Rigvedi, Yajurvedi, right? We call it these Brahmins. Why? The one focus is on that. But they remembered everything. And why remembering is important, I'm going to come back to these nakshatras. Again, you don't have to remember right away. But if you decide to get excited about astronomy and our literature, you better know this list, what I just said. Even their position, you should visualize. Now, I'm sure he will be able to do it. But let's start with Ashwini. Ashwini, against the ecliptic, where it is, on the north or south, and I'm not trying to put you on a spot, it is in the north. Against the ecliptic, just at the ecliptic, it's north of ecliptic. Ashwini, Bharani, it's north. Kritika, north. Rohini, south. Mrugashirsha, south. Ardra, right almost on the equator, okay. The Punarvasu, 2 here, 2 down, okay. Then Pushya, almost right, but to the south. Magha, right on the ecliptic. Uttara Phalguni, Purva Phalguni on the north, Hasta to the south, Chitra right on the ecliptic, Swati way above in the north. I will stop here. But what am I doing? I am visualizing this, where exactly they are. And with remembering the names, remembering their visualization, this is all important if you want to solve astronomy problems. Okay, you say, please, I mean, it's in the book. Why you want me to remember? It will not work. Okay, you can visualize. So, the importance of knowledge, the M.G. Prasad made a very good statement and I loved it. He said, unless you know, you cannot think. So, if you have to solve this whole jumble, of the planets and different nakshatras and so on, unless you know where exactly their positions are, you will not able to solve it. Okay. Okay, so the zodiac, let's see quickly the connection between the nakshatras and zodiac. Very crude way. So we have the same thing here. Now I change the view. You with me? I put the earth at the center. So seen from the earth, as seen from the earth. So where are you going to see the sun now? Here. Sun, moon, everything you are going to see along this line. In the sky, right? That's what you say, in the sky. So let's start with Gemini. So if I say this approximately this area is a Gemini, which is what? Gemini is Punarvasu. Yeah, what did you say? Month. Yeah, month wise it's a May. Okay, Gemini is a Punarvasu, Mithun. Okay, two stars together. Okay, and I'm not going to go into the English names and all that. Okay, the Pollux and Castor and so on. Okay. So that area, so what we called one nakshatra, approximately 13 degree. For a zodiac, it is few nakshatra together, 2.5 nakshatra space, and it is 30 degree. You follow? Because there are 12 zodiacs, so 12 times 30 would be 360 degree. Okay. So that's Gemini, then Cancer. Okay. So you started with sort of a Punarvasu area. The next one would be Pusha. Those of you know. Okay. That's Canceri. Then Leo. So Magha is the key star of Leo. Okay. Then Virgo. Who is the key star of Virgo? Chitra. Chitra is the key star of Virgo. Okay. Then Libra. Okay. That is Vishakha. Then you have a Scorpius. All the way from Anuradha to Mula. Okay. Like an elephant trunk. If you see the Scorpio, we saw Scorpio meaning the scorpion, but also it looks like an elephant trunk. Now, why is that important? Although we are calling it scorpion, we meaning in the modern times, and what do we call Vrishchik, right? We call it Vrishchik also. In Ramayana, that area is described as Airavat. Very interesting. Is described as Airavat. Swati Nakshatra is described as a what you call Baka, meaning crane, as a crane. Okay. So the names can slightly change. I think that was a question. Do they change? Sometimes it can be identified with something else. Then the next one is the Sagittarius. Next is Capricornus, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. So that same nakshatra space is also divided 12 points and 12 zodiacs. Any questions? No. Okay. All right, the ecliptic. This is a geocentric perspective, meaning as seen from the earth, and I just showed you in fact. So what you see, that green line is a symbolization for the ecliptic. What is ecliptic again? Yeah, the path of the sun in the sky. Now we are also lucky in some other way. It so happens that this is our earth here, and here is the sun. In comparison to earth and the sun, their position, rest of the planets, okay, including moon, they are more or less in the same plane. What I mean is, if you suppose this is my sun and here is the earth, if it's a Jupiter, of course far away, but it may be here. It's not like here. You follow? In terms. So more or less they are in the same plane. So I start from here, Mercury here, Venus, whatever, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, they are more or less in the same plane. Therefore, when we look at them from the earth, more or less they appear along the ecliptic. Not exactly on the ecliptic here and there, but they appear along the ecliptic. You understand why? Okay, if not, just take a leap of faith that they appear along the ecliptic. Okay, and that is why we can use the same nakshatras. If they were not along the same ecliptic, we couldn't use the same nakshatras to describe their position. Okay. So this is the ecliptic, and now from the earth, as you see, you are going to see the sun, the moon, okay, and these are different planets, by the way. And all I'm saying is, all the point I'm trying to make is that these are all more or less along the ecliptic, and therefore we can define their position using the same nakshatra system. Good? Okay. Lunar days, lunar months, I'll go a bit fast through this. We did that yesterday. Okay. But important, you did not see the phases. So let's begin here. So there's a reference, the 27th day, whatever happened there. Now let's start day number 1. Okay. It's Amavasya. Would you agree? You cannot see anything. So Amavasya. Okay. So second day, do you see anything? Little bit. Just as to give you context, when the Islam's Ramadan is over, what do? They cannot break the Ramadan until they see the crescent moon. Okay, so Amavasya has happened, and now they are waiting for the crescent moon. Until the crescent moon is seen, they cannot break the whole Ramadan fast. Okay, so that is that significance there. The month is truly complete, and they have gone to the next one. Okay. So far nothing to be clearly seen, but I don't know if you can see from a distance. Now you can see the crescent here. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. But I mean, you'll see it when you get. So now the crescent is growing up. Okay. So now this is the Ashtami, more or less, that number 9 there or 8 there somewhere, and goes on, and by the time you go around 15, do you see it? Yeah. It's a full moon. Okay. Now the point I was making, I want you to note it down. Yes, the full moon will be around that 15, but look at here, somewhere here, all the way there, it looks like almost like a full moon. Yeah? On the other hand, when you look in this area, it almost looks like Amavasya. You follow? Okay. So just keep that in mind when we look at the Mahabharata evidence. And then, after full moon day, Purnima, for next few days, it's going to appear like a full moon, and then it starts getting smaller and smaller, and finally here. Now what happens? So this is, it completed that one full revolution around the earth in 27 days. This is that sidereal lunar month, from one same nakshatra to same nakshatra. But the phase is not the same, okay? It's not very clear because of Amavasya. So this is a sidereal lunar month, but it has to go through some additional distance, okay? That additional 2.5, 3 days, before it completes the lunar month that we call a lunar month of about 30 days. Actual average length is 29.5, but we cannot stop the day in the middle of it, so we call it 30 days as a civic day. Everyone understands why 30 days? Because earth has also moved through about 30 degrees during that time. Everyone with me? Okay. So these are the two types of lunar month. We will stick with 30 days for most part, okay, for this discussion. Somebody asked me if I have a simulation for this lunar sort of calendar. I'm going to try. I don't know if it will work. Okay, and I'll just give it to some time and see if it works. If not, we will move on. Okay, and I don't know how clearly it can be seen. It's not allowing me to expand. Okay, let's see. Okay, so just follow what's happening, lots of movement, lots of motions there. But we are going to see the see that the clock is running, but this screen is not moving. Let's see. Okay. We'll skip this, okay? If I get chance, then we'll rerun this. Let's try one more time. Okay. I don't want to spend time on this. I mean, we'll do the simulation and show you. But I wanted to take a chance and see if we could do it. Okay. The seasons and the positions of the sun. Again, 27 nakshatras and positions of the sun. Okay. So, solstices and equinoxes. All right. So, this is sun at the center, earth at an angle. We have got these nakshatras. And this is this. Okay. Now, I need my 4 volunteers. Please come here in the front. They are designated, they already know who they are, Yeah, I think I need that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4, one more. Anyone? One more. Someone who has not participated yet, Someone, quick. Who has not participated yet, Please, thank you. Okay. So this, and I may not need all, but we will see. Okay. So I need one person here. One person here. Yeah. Just stand here. That's the easy job, right? Okay. Someone here, you come here in the center. Okay. That's the sun. Okay. So that's the sun, and I need earth. Who is out of you through? Who is the if you know each other, who is the best Bharatanatyam dancer? Huh? You don't know, you haven't seen each other. You think her? Okay, you come here, Arya, the punishment for pointing at someone else. Okay, so you stand here next to him, like, okay, just like the picture, think of sun and the earth. Okay, that's like that. And what we are going to do is, let us see if it's the same position. Okay. So now, remember how he did the hand, our professor did the hand, yeah? So this, no, the other way. Yeah, okay. And you don't have to hold it like that, but just remember this position. So this is our northern hemisphere, this is southern hemisphere. And what is it? Right now it is the sun, close to June. So look at the screen, that's our 21st June. Okay. Now, Arya, for example, from here, what she has to do is, while keeping it the same, she is going to come here and stand like this. Okay. All right, if you stand there, way to the wall, at the wall, all the way to the wall, okay? Yeah. And you just think, what might be in store for you, okay? All right. So what I'm showing is, now you can take your hands off. I don't want to do the torture, okay? But you know what the position is, right? This is this 21st June, which is coming right now, okay? Now, from the earth, if we draw a line, okay? That goes here, and we look at what nakshatra it is. In the background, the nakshatras are far, far away stars, okay? Very far away. Even if they rotate, it doesn't matter. It's, nakshatra doesn't matter. But from here, we are drawing a line on a 21st of June, and look at which nakshatra it is that the sun is in. You follow what I'm saying? From the earth. Anyone, which nakshatra you think will be approximately? Huh? Revati? Okay, any other answer? Thanks for trying, that's good. On 21st June. What is it? So from here, we are drawing a line here and trying to see what is this nakshatra here. Yeah, but don't read Ashwini Revati, So just in our time. Okay, I'm going to give a trick. Now you are the moon. Okay, come here. So you stand next to her here. Okay, so suppose that on the 21st June, okay, this year, it may not be the case, it doesn't happen every year, but on 21st June, it so happens it is a day of summer solstice. Yes, everyone agrees. It's also a full moon day. That's why she is standing there. She is the moon, okay, full moon day. So now we have to decide full moon of which month? What would you say? Approximately which month would appear now? No, the lunar month. Ashad. Okay, generally Jeshta Ashad. Would you agree? Okay. So, how did we decide it is the full moon of Ashad? Based on? Not equinox. Remember yesterday's verse. We said the Purnimasi cha Kartikim. If a Kartik Purnima, what does that mean? The full moon is near Nakshatra Kritika. right? So if we are saying it is the full moon of Ashad, so from the earth, just from the, okay, don't be scared, okay? Yeah. From the earth, we draw a line through the full moon, okay, and go all the way and find out what that nakshatra is. That nakshatra would be either Purvashada, Uttarashada, somewhere there. Everyone follows? No? Yes? Yeah. So because we see this, and this is a nakshatra Purvashada, therefore we are calling this full moon of Ashad. That's my lunar month. Now let's go the other way. So now we draw the line and go all the way here. And where do you think approximately it will come? Everyone knows the lunar months? No? Approximately? Okay, so let's Ashad, Shravan, Bhadrapad, Ashwin, and you might have slightly different names for that. Ashwin, Kartik, Margashirsha, Paush. So somewhere between Margashirsha and Paush, that's where you are going to end up. 6 months if you go. Would you agree that these two are exactly opposite of each other? Total 12 months. So if you go, this nakshatra, I am going to guess, is going to be somewhere near Mrugashirsha. Margashirsha Paush. Are you following what I am saying? Somewhere near Mrugashirsha. Okay. Now just stay there as you are. Now Arya, you do this again. So that is my summer solstice. Okay. So please follow because this is the crux of it. So on my summer solstice day in my time, currently, that is the 21st June, it is the lunar month of Ashad and the sun position is in the Margashirsha. Follow? Okay. Now everyone else can stay there for now. So what you do is you come through a circle around the sun, keep here all the way and keep the hands the same way. Okay. Stop. So now what happened? This is my 21st December. Follow? Okay. Now you go and stand on the other side just like that. Okay. So on 21st December, what do? From her looking at the sun, I draw a line. This is my 21st December and I say in sun is in which nakshatra? Ashad. Hello, 2 minutes guys, memory, you know. Okay, sun is in Ashad. Okay. Now this happens to be a full moon. You can take your hands down just to relax you, you know. From here, I begin. It's a full moon, happens to be full moon. It will not happen every year, but 21st December, suppose if it happens to be full moon, I can draw a line from the earth through the full moon. Now this is the full moon of which lunar month? I feel good. Margashirsha, absolutely, right? Margashirsha, Paush, somewhere there because of flexibility. So that's Margashirsha. Why Margashirsha? Because if I draw the line, I see, Margashirsha Nakshatra is here. Everyone follows? Okay. While these wonderful folks are here, I'm going to teach you what happens. Just trust me that what happens and then I'll show you on the screen. The precession of the Earth's axis is like this. So Arya, help me, okay? So it's like this, okay? Right now it is slanted like this. Over a time, what's going to happen, but I cannot twist my body, so what I'm going to do is, over a time, it just goes through like this. Of course, it's not rotation of the earth I'm talking, it's the rotation of the earth's axis, only the earth's axis. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's not the earth rotating, yeah? So where the axis is pointing in the sky, just look at that, it goes like this, and Arya, you can do with me, it's a lot of fun. I promise you, just do it, you know, it's a lot of fun. Right? When you do it, what did it do? It sort of created some kind of a circle in the sky. This whole motion, now please don't confuse with the Earth's motion every day, 24 hours. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the Earth's motion around the sun. They are happening. This is happening 24 hours. This is happening 365 days. I'm not talking of this. I'm talking about the Earth's axis where it's pointing to. Right now where it is pointing, it's doing almost that way for 2000 years because, you know, it's very slow. So going like this took 2000 years and going through this complete whole axis. Arya, do it again. Isn't it fun? Yeah, do it fun. Okay, so just doing this completely and completing one circle takes 26,000 years. That whole circle takes 26,000 years, okay? That is called the precession of the Earth's axis and the total cycle. Now we are going to do this again. So what is your current position? Like this, okay? So what happened? 21st December right now, yeah? 21st December and Nakshatra Mrugashirsha. Can you remember this? Very important. Now both of you come here, the same position, and stand here again, your previous position. I told you, if you volunteer late, it gets tougher. Yeah? Okay. So this is my 21st June, Nakshatra, Ashad, full moon, and so on. Now imagine, instead of 26,000 years, I have gone through only half, 13,000 years. So it would look like this. Okay? So right where she is standing, how was she before? Like this. Now you are going to do like this. Everyone follows what I did. Okay? So if we go backwards by 13,000 years, or approximately, or forward by 13,000 years, now the earth is going to look like this, while sun is the same, moon is kind of just rotating, and the nakshatras have not moved. Now tell me what is happening. So what day is this now? 21st December, everyone follows on the English calendar, the winter solstice. And what is the full moon? Full moon of which month? Ashad. It is the winter, the peak of winter, and the lunar month of Ashad. Okay, both of you come there and go stand there. Okay. Yeah, same thing. Okay, which one? Okay, did she do it right? Very good. You get brownie points. Okay. Yeah. So now which day is this on the English calendar? 21st June, because the North Pole is closer to the sun, kind of thing, inclined towards this. Okay, the full moon, and full moon of what? Margashirsha. And what day it is? I mean, what time of the season? What season of the year? It's a summer. Okay, thank you. Just take hands down. Okay, so in our times, we have the winter, the peak of winter, 21st December, near Margashirsha. And it's not one exact day, it moves over a 30-day period. Okay, and we'll see why. But it moves over 30-day period, more or less Margashirsha. Approximation, it's month of Margashirsha, that's when the winter solstice happens in our times. It's the month of Ashad when the summer solstice happens in our time. If you go back 13,000 years, it would be the exactly opposite. The Margashirsha would be the month of summer. The Ashad would be the month of winter. Everyone follows? It's very easy to show the exactly opposites what happened. And what is happening in between is something just in between, slowly. So just as a summary, what I'm going to say is, one of the effect of this precession of equinoxes, which is what? Arya, start with me. The Earth's axis rotating and completing a circle through 26,000 years, there are many, many consequences, many, many effects. Okay? One of the effect I want you to notice, the others are relatively easy to explain, is that the lunar month, okay, the lunar month, because lunar month, how do we decide? By noting down the full moon position and the nakshatra behind it. The lunar month shifts. It shifts with respect to the season, okay, shifts with respect to the season by 1 month every 2,000 years, approximately 2,000 years. So what does that mean? A shift 1 month, 2,000, another 2,000, if you do 12, that is 24,000 years. I said approximately, so that's close to 26,000 years. 2,160 if you want the exact number. Every 2,160 year, it will shift. Now the shift is very slow, you may not even notice it. Think of our Chaitra Mas. We call it Chaitra as the beginning of the year because when we started the current calendar, it was the first month of Vasanta Rutu, first month of spring season. It is already the second month of spring season. Trick question for you, not trick question. So, approximately how long ago you think our current calendar began? 2,000 years, approximately 2,000 years. Everyone follows? Okay. Give these wonderful folks, big hand. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Is it on? What do you do? Okay, it's on.
You just said that everything is moving, but as far as the 27 nakshatras are concerned, there was no movement in at least what we visualize now.
Correct.
Just wanted an explanation.
Okay, now the great question. See, what happens is the nakshatras are also moving, they also have a motion, but they are so far. okay, that as far as we are concerned and say thousands of years are concerned, like a 2 lakhs, a million year are concerned, there is practically no difference with most of the nakshatras. Okay, actually this does create a difference. In fact, that becomes also very useful. But just so that you have to give an idea why the nakshatras appear not to move, although they are moving, is this. Sun is our star, sun is the star we know. Anyone knows what is the second closest star other than sun to us? Huh? Not Sirius. Alpha Centaur in the south, you know, you would have seen. So just to give an idea, and we know it's a bright star, but it's not that great, right? But so if Earth is here and say Sun is here, I want you to see the magnitude of scales we are talking. If Sun is here and say Earth is here, I can just show it, and that's the closest star, which is Sun. The second closest star to us, and thank God, otherwise, you know, we will be like Kerala weather is like, no kidding, you know, it will be very hot, is 4 kilometers away. You follow? If these are like here, the next star, Alpha Centauri, the closest star, is 4 kilometers away. So imagine Arya doing her Bharatnatyam here. No matter what she does here, does it matter? For Alpha Centauri, does it matter? It doesn't matter. You are here or here, Alpha Centauri says she is not doing anything, she is standing there, something like that. Now that is for a closest star. Actually the nakshatra that we use, the stars for Ashwini, Bharani, Rohini, Kritika, they are far, far away. We are talking 80, 60 million, what is that, light years. So as far as the practical thing concerned, they don't change. However, because you raised the question, I want to bring something. Again, very important for Indian narratives, timing, and putting the upper bound. Now you hear, I don't want to open another can of worms, but you know, I'll just mark it. One is somewhere we might hit Kali Yuga and that discussion. By the way, the yesterday discussion was great, okay? We need to have this discussion, okay? It's very important. Another one is Rigveda and Apaurushaya, okay? So one school of thought will say Rigveda, you cannot date them, you shouldn't bother dating them, and so on, because they are Apaurushaya. It's a certain interpretation. Even within the Gemini Mimamsa, within the Purva Mimamsa, it's a certain interpretation. Within that, there is another school who will say Apaurushaya means something else, and so on, okay? But so those couple of things that you might hit, Kali Yuga is the one, Rigveda is the one. Then Yuga, not just Kali Yuga, but many Yugas, millions of years, and so on, okay? So something happened millions of years, come on, what are you saying? Let's take example of a Ramayana. How many of you have heard that Ramayana, some people think at least, you may also believe, happened 1 million years ago. Mahabharata 5,000 years, that typically you hear. But how many of you have heard? Maybe it's not your opinion and that's fine, but Ramayana happened 1 million years, even many millions, but let's stick with million. Okay. Now you know, just for that argument, astronomy will falsify that. Just with the question that you asked. For example, Nakshatra Rohini, Aldebaran, you know, Aldebaran, that is a Arabic name for it. Very, very bright star. If you look at the motion of Nakshatra Rohini, relatively speaking, is so fast that if you go back only 1.5 lakhs years, forget million, 1.5 lakhs years, that Rohini where it is right now south of Ecliptic, okay, the Taurus, the bullseye, you know, it just starts going up. And it almost goes to the North Pole. It's no longer a nakshatra. If you go back 100,000 years, 1 lakh years, Rohini is no longer a nakshatra. Because in order for something to be a nakshatra, it has to be somewhat closer to the ecliptic and has to be stable. So it's no longer a nakshatra. But if you go to Ramayana, you find, I'm saying hundreds, not hundreds, 30, 40 references in the context of Rohini. Correct. Great question. Thank you. So now what he's saying is, fine. So the Rohini, that Rohini is gone. Okay. But you know, I mean, there is not only one Arya. What is your name? Vismaya. There is not only one Vismaya. You know, we can always find another one, right? Something like that. What about some other nakshatra being called Rohini? Always a possibility. Now, in that case, who do you think the onus is on? You understand my question? if this current Rohini, whatever we are calling Rohini, is gone, and somebody says, not you are saying, you are putting that argument, very good, that some other star would have been called Rohini. Who has the onus to show that that was the case and this star was called Rohini and so on? The person who is claiming 1,000,000 years. How many of you see the logic? Yeah, it is not something, someone cannot come to me and say, no, but please find another Rohini for me because my 1,000,000 years should stand. No, it is a responsibility for them. When we look at the multidisciplinary evidence, we'll also look at the reverse Saraswati evidence for a different reason, So the onus, so it's possible. In fact, you can look, you can buy a book or just send me email if you are okay with reading PDF. I don't believe it's 1,000,000 years. I have come up with 12,209. Dr. P.V. Vartak, somebody mentioned the name. He doesn't believe it's 1,000,000 years. He has a different date. Now I will tell you the scientific spirit, just taking a digression. I know him for a while now. If I go to Pune, I make a point to meet him. Okay, just meet him for 5-10 minutes. He's very old now and health-wise not doing great, 85 years, 86 years. Now, Mahabharata, it so happened that my year came out, he had done before me, by the way, so his is original. So I ended up coming to the same year, 5561 BCE. Some slight differences on the exact dates, but otherwise the year the same. When it came to Ramayana, my date is 5,000 years removed from his. His date is around, the date he came up with is like 7,300 BCE. And I came up with 12,209. Now, let me tell you, it's not like he came up with this and I came up with this. That is true. But I have to take a position in these kind of debates. So I'm saying mine is correct, his is wrong. I want you to understand that. This is not like he has a one style of making avial and she has another style of making avial. In case of avial, both are okay. You understand? Vada pav, if you come to Mumbai, all varieties of vada pav, they all are wonderful. That's not what we are talking. When it comes to this like that, you have to take a position, and you may disagree and you can have a debate and so on. So the point I'm making is, when I went to him and I said, okay, I have done Ramayana, but I hope to write it. This was 2012 and I wrote in 2014. He said, okay, so what is your date? Okay, so I said it's 12,209 for the Ram Ravan Yuddha, removed from yours by 5,000 years. Okay, he said, go ahead, I have my blessings with you. I'm just trying to convey you the scientific spirit of it. So I am, and not because he said that I dedicated the book to him. I was going to already dedicate the book to him and he didn't know that, by the way. So it's not like that's why, oh, you are going to put my name, my blessings with you. No, nothing in that sense. My point being, I am saying he's wrong. And he's saying, okay, go ahead. My blessings with you. Of course, then, he want to see and he may be able to debate it. You see the spirit? Okay. There are Albrecht Dürer, his quote is that the day my theory is been falsified, I will celebrate. Because that is the day a further progress has taken place and I was the cause of that progress. Somebody's theory is been superseded by somebody else. It's a time for joy and celebration. Okay. If you take the history of cosmology, even the Western history of cosmology, from Ptolemy, then nothing in between for a long time, Copernicus, Tycho Brahe, Kepler, Galileo, Newton, Lagrange, Einstein. What do you see? Every single, the second name I said, the name said after, he overcame the limitations of the previous theory and made a progress. It is to be celebrated. Now, after Kepler, Galileo, Kepler, then Newton, then Lagrange, and then Einstein. Einstein has written a paper. Of course, he wrote many papers. But as far as praising the individuals, Einstein wrote a paper not praising, not that these guys are not worthy, not praising Lagrange, not praising Newton, not praising Galileo. He wrote a paper praising Kepler. Now, someone would say, okay, come on, the Kepler has been destroyed. His theory has been destroyed long time ago. No, Einstein could see the genius of Kepler. In those circumstances, what he could achieve when the calculus did not exist and what he could achieve. In fact, all Newton had to do, I am simplifying it, is whatever Kepler had already created, the three laws of Newton, Kepler had created them. Kepler had given the language. He just did not have the math to do it. Newton provided the math. and Newton did something more. I'm not just saying it's as simple as wrote a formula, but Einstein could see the genius of Kepler. Therefore, I say Lokmanya Tilak wrote 2 books, Orion and also the Arctic Home in the Vedas. Okay. Now, that is when the Aryan invasion theory was in vogue, you know, very much the case. Now, those books, the findings of that books have been falsified. But if you want to get into archaeoastronomy, I will say you should have those 2 books on your desk. You should read them every day like a Bhagavad Gita. And this is not out of a blind faith. I really want you to understand what Tilak was thinking, how he went through all of this 100 years ago. Yeah, you will be totally fascinated, you will be stunned what he could do 100 years ago. Even when those are wrong, there is a beauty in them as to what they did. Yeah. Take the microphone, please. Yeah. No, I will not come to you guys, but somewhere the point will come and then you can ask me and I'll give. Yeah. Correct. Okay. So what I will say is, I'm not saying correct, but whatever you said, just ignore the magnets. Completely ignore the magnets. Just think of it. What is that? How do we find out the axis of the Earth? Anyone? How do we know? I mean, where the axis is pointing today? How will we find out? Yeah, pole star. Or suppose there is no pole star. Or I mean, so at night every day you watch or watch for a long time. You know, keep on there chanting. Actually, Yoga Sutra. I'm not scared of bringing the Yoga Sutras, but in Yoga Sutra there is one what you call sutra. It says if you meditate on the dhruva, you get the knowledge of the motion. In Yoga Sutra, right? If you meditate on the dhruva, you recognize or you comprehend the knowledge of the motion of the stars, and of course, I mean, knowledge of the motion, that one. So if you meditate, you will be able to notice the difference. Okay, so it is there, but of course, just you see it one night. So what will happen? All the stars will appear rotating around that point or around that star, completing a 24-hour cycle. You follow? That's how I will know where the Earth's axis is pointing. Okay, so yeah. 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 Or season shifts, whichever way, you know. It is what? Time. Is it time for again for the month to shift? Okay, great question. He's saying every 2000 years the month shifts. Okay, so 2000 years have gone by. 2000 years have gone by from when? From Jesus, right? Okay. So now we say, oh, is it time to change now? Oh, come on, you know. Well, yes, but it is changing continuously. It is changing continuously, and again we have only 2 days. Next another time we'll do a longer seminar on this. We are doing 2, but great point again. I'll take a digression. So if it's because it's slowly changing, when it comes to making an actual change in the calendar, there are quarrels. For example, we started with Nakshatra Ashwini. Yeah, where it is now. So Ashwini was at the point of spring equinox, approximately 2000 years ago. Where is it now? Where is the spring equinox now? It has moved from Ashwini. I'll tell you that much information. So it has gone somewhere else. Pisces. It's Ashwini is a Mesh now, right? Aries. It has gone towards Pisces. So it's between Revati, Uttara, Bhadrapada, somewhere there. So we should actually change the calendar and say now the first nakshatra is a Revati. And another 500, 800, 900 years now first nakshatra is a Uttara Bhadrapada. But now you try changing it, see what happens. Yeah.
21 days of the actual Uttarayana.
Yes.
So what I was told by the tradition is that the change they will do. What was earlier that every time it changed by 1 month or by 2 months, something, then they made a
Correct.
Till then they didn't make a change.
Correct.
Off by 21 days, they also know it's off by 21
Yes.
days. But they make a change when it comes to 1 month change or 2 month change, something like that, and they make a change.
Correct. And
Calendar change.
right. So if you look in the history, in fact, that is the root of Amanta and Purnamanta month. Because you know what it allowed? It allowed them to change it after 15 days of change. So you could start, instead of Amanta to Amanta, now you can say the moon from Purnamanta to Purnamanta.
Without having a disruption.
Correct.
Now you got 21 days.
Yes.
So if you wait for another 1 more
Yes.
change,
Yeah.
a 1 month change, then you will keep that Amanta.
Yes, but they are saying it right now. But what will happen is when the 7 days, which is what? Saturday, so like 500 years, something like that. When they go by, 72 times 7 or whatever you need, 8 days, you know. When that goes by, you will find that there will be one group, I'm just making it simplify, one group who will say, no, it is our tradition, Ashwini Nakshatra, we should not make a change. I mean, who are you to change it? No, it will happen. And it has happened in our history. Do you know the story? Many times. Do you know the story of Vishwamitra getting angry and creating Pratisrushti with Shravan as the first nakshatra? Right? We can just think as a literally like what? No. Pratisrushti meaning he created some another earth. No. It is the another calendar system, you know. So like Shravan has moved, and actually you can find the reference in Mahabharata, but cannot be done in 2 days, you know, possibly cannot be done in 5 days. But if you go to Vanaparva, there is a mention of Dhanishta becoming first nakshatra. Okay, Vanaparva. Abhijit Spardamana tu Rohini Kanyashi Swasa Icchanti Jeshtata Devi Tapastaptum Vanam Gata Tatra Bhadrami Nakshatram Gaganachutam Kalam Tvam Param Skanda Brahmana Sa Chintaya. So, Abhijit Spardamana, I will not go into that, we will not able to cover. It is there in my book, so please read that. One whole chapter, Fall of Abhijit, chapter number 5, you know, it's on whole in that. So, that time Dhanishta was given a first position, but not because it was at the spring equinox, it was at the summer solstice. So, we have a reference of first nakshatra being at summer solstice, winter solstice, spring equinox, what is that? Fall equinox. We have a first month beginning 1 month before spring equinox. We have a evidence for year beginning 1 month before fall equinox. That is a Mahabharata time actually. It is there, okay. Sorry, what was the question? I mean, yeah, so I just digressed from there, but wanted to make another point. And there are many instances, not just one, many instances, okay. So, Vedanga Jyotish, again the Shravan Nakshatra is there, but that is not the Shravan Nakshatra of Vishwamitra. You follow? Okay. Alright, so then with 23 September, I'll go fast through this. Everyone understood how we see the position? We draw a line straight through the sun to understand Sun Nakshatra and so on. We have to take break at what, 10:30? 10:30? Okay, good. Then for December, 21st December, and if the tea doesn't come, we will just go on until it comes, okay? Okay, so I'm just going to go fast through it. Position of the sun as seen from the earth, okay? So you can see this position of the sun, you can do this for each of those corner points. These are known as cardinal points, just as an English word, you know. So equinoxes and solstices are known as cardinal points, okay? And I'm showing you those 12 moons, okay? So the solar calendar, another takeaway I want you to take is actually it matches the season, okay? Because what they do is they match the corner points, solstices. They always want to ensure the Gregorian especially, solstice comes on, the summer solstice comes on 21st June, winter solstice comes on the 21st. I'm just using a crude, don't fight with me on the 22nd, 23rd like that, okay? Around 22nd December, March, 23rd March, 23rd September. So what happens right now, the way they have designed it, it was designed 1582, okay? Again, I will encourage you when you go back, type CK, Professor CK Raju and watch a lot of his videos. You'll see all the fun of how, you'll laugh at this. Now, how do we combine the lunisolar calendar? Remember, the lunar calendar 12 months is 354 days. The solar year is a 365 or 365 point some. So, the gap of like 10 to 11 days, or we call it 10 to 11 tithis, okay? Huh? Yeah. So, what happens, approximately we let it go for 2.5 years, approximately on an average, and then we insert 1 month. Because every year we are creating a gap. The lunar year is short by 10 days. So we go 3 times, that's short by now 30 days. I'm making a crude approximate number. Then you insert one lunar month, additional month, 13th month. Okay? And then what happens? Now the lunar calendar and solar calendar are same. So more or less the same lunar month will match with the timing of equinox and the same equinox and so on. Okay? Everyone follows me? Now this extra month is also there in Rigveda, this month is there in Ramayana, this month is there in Mahabharata and so on. However, the method used to insert that month has differed. The method used, there was a, I will not go into that. Rigveda had a different method based on the Ardra, Nakshatra. And then the current method that we follow is due to Sripati, like around 1100 CE, like 1000 year old. The current method that we follow. Again, very ingenious method, but I'm not going to go there. I mean, I'm just simply say every 2.5 years or so, you insert one lunar month and that takes care of the cycle. Now, that takes care of the cycle for a short time. But what I showed you due to the precession of equinoxes, the month of Ashad, which is a month of rain, becoming the month of winter, or month of Margashirsha, which is a winter month, becoming the month of summer, this additional Adhika Masa will not stop that. You understand? Because that has nothing to do here. Okay. All right. So the tropical year 365.2422 and the sidereal year is 20 minutes longer. So what happens is, I showed you what happens to the lunar month, right? The same thing happens to the sun also, but not to the solar year. Now the reason it doesn't happen to the solar year is because you know what? The solar year, Gregorian year, doesn't care what is in the background. They don't care what nakshatra is there. You follow? All they care about is the shortest day of the year is matched to 21st December. The longest day of the year is matched to 21st June. You follow what I'm saying? No? Anyone confused? Okay. So they do that. So suppose if they find some discrepancy, actually there was in Julian calendar. I'll not go into that history. So suppose in future a time will come when there might be a shift of a day or so. It will happen after 3000 years or so. So what they will do? What they did in 1582. They will just skip one day. They will add, in 1582, do you know what happened? After the 4th of October came, Friday, whatever the day, the next day was the 10th October. They suddenly ate 9-10 days to take care of the problem. That is the Julian calendar to Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar is designed in such a way that they won't have a need to do that, but they will still need to make a correction of one day. So they will skip one day, take a holiday, and just call 2 Fridays or whatever 2 days, 2-4 of October or something, and just continue. So because of that, it's not very obvious. But those people, I mean, besides Ashwin there, who does solar astrology? Anyone else in astrology? I know some people said they also do astrology. No, they didn't show up today. Okay, some people are there, so they said there's some solar astrology. For them, actually, something changes. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Leo, I mean, mine is 28th July. Okay, 28th July. So my solar sign is Leo. Okay, the other one is Uttarashada. On this side, Uttarashada. Okay, but this solar, and it was a full moon, close to full moon, Shravan full moon. Okay, so mine Leo is 28th July because they say from 23rd, 23rd July to 23rd August is Leo. But if you go and look at the simulation, actually sun is not in the Leo, sun is in the Cancer. And that has happened because of this precession of equinoxes. So it happens, but it happens slowly and it's not much taken into account. Okay, the precession of the Earth, I can go fast through this because we did this. So quickly, in our time, 2100 years. So to answer your question, it's happening slowly. 2018 in astronomy, at least for precession of the Earth's axis, is same as 2100 CE. You follow? It's same as 2200 CE, it's same as 1800 CE, doesn't make much difference. So Earth's axis pointing somewhere in the sky, that is called NCP, the North Celestial Pole or North Celestial Point, okay, wherever it points in the sky. If there happens to be a bright star, we call it a Dhruvatara or pole star. In our times, that star is a Polaris. Okay. Now, remember I showed you, and Arya also participated with me, right? So, this particular axis will actually precess and make a complete circle, and it will take 26,000 years. And therefore, I showed you, it so happens, if you go back 13,000 years halfway in the past or in the future approximately, Polaris would not be a pole star. In fact, say 1,000 years, 2,000 years from now, Polaris would no longer be a pole star. Okay? If you go back 13,000 or forward 13,000, Brahma Rashi, Abhijit, Vega would be a pole star. Okay? And that is, by the way, one of the reference. Again, we are not doing Ramayana here, but Brahma Rashir Vishuddhasya Shuddhasya, Brahma Rashir Vishuddhasya Shuddhasya Paramarshaya, Archishmantah Prakashante, Dhruvam Sarve Pradakshinam. The Saptarshis are making a rotation around the Brahma Rashi, the pole star. This is the statement of Ramayana. So, if Ramayana times, if the Brahma Rashi is the pole star, what do you think the approximate time of Ramayana? Either 13,000 years ago or multiples of it, right? 13,000 BC or whatever the time, or 13,000 plus 26,000 plus 26,000 going backwards. Everyone follows this? No, so from here, so it will be like 11,000, 12,000. Yeah. What is it? Was it known in the time of Mahabharata? Great question. Was the precision of the Earth's axis was known in the time of Mahabharata? What we don't know, and we shouldn't talk about anything that we truly don't know. We don't know if they knew the mechanism as to exactly what was happening. We don't know if they knew this, what we are talking here. But what they do knew, that the things are changing. That they knew. In fact, even as simple as Amarakosha, Amar Sinhas, there is a reference, when the Agastya Lopamudra, that verse comes, one of my co-researcher, Rupa Bhatti, she has shown that those are all basically different pole stars. Now, we have to identify. Lopamudra, we don't know which one was called Lopamudra. But Agastya and others we can identify who they are. Uttanapad, we know the story of Uttanapad and Dhruva. But actually, Uttanapad has many identification. Uttanapad is, I won't go into that, it will digress the subject, is identified with Agastya also. And you can see those verses. So, yes, they knew that the pole stars were changing. Brahma Rashi, they are saying Brahma Rashi is the pole star of that time. Entire Mahabharata, now how interesting is this? Entire Mahabharata, there is no description of a pole star. See, that itself, just that evidence itself will get rid of 3000 BC. But that is a negative kind of evidence, so we shouldn't use it. Anupalabdhi. Okay, the very fact the pole star is not mentioned, and therefore we say, okay, come on, if it was there, it would have been mentioned. No, that's possible. Even if it existed, they might not have mentioned it in the entire 125,000. It's like Anupalabdhi. What do you call? Unavailability of evidence, negative evidence. We shouldn't use it if possible. Okay, so if you go backwards 26,000 years, 13,000 years, the Brahma Rashi is a pole star. So let's do that. The exact time, you asked the question, the exact time that comes out when the NCP, the point of pole star, was closest to the Brahma Rashi was 12,048 BCE. I mean, you can estimate that accurate. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean Brahma Rashi was a pole star only in 12,048. Yeah, possibly 2,000 years before, 2,000 years after, 1,000 years before, 1,000 years after, plus minus 1,000, plus minus 2,000, right? If you have no other star, you might go for another 1,000 years as a reference point. So, that was that. Okay, now this is showing you that circle that it forms. So, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so these are the stars here. So, this is Abhijit, this is Vega. That you see that 2000 there, that dot right there, that is our Polaris, the current pole star. Some of you ask, like, so Ursa Major is outside, but that's called Ursa Minor, small bear, in the English what you call. That one, this looks like Saptarshi, you know, for example, but that's not Saptarshi. Our big Saptarshi is outside here. Okay? So prominent pole stars, right now ours is Polaris, but if you go backwards, say by 4,000 years, Kochab was the pole star. If you go back to 3000 BC, the Thuban was the pole star. Okay? If you go back 12,000 BC, Brahmarashi, if you go back 16,000 BC, the Danube, and on and on. Just goes in a circle, never stops. Okay? The effect due to the precession of equinoxes. Okay, so we saw this. What is the one effect that you can tell based on this picture? The pole star changes. The one effect, there are many effects. One effect is the pole star changes. Okay, it's not the same. So this is how you will see it. If you took a long photograph, this would be our pole star, and all the stars will create their traces, you know, going around. Okay, they will rotate around this. So Sushriji, you tell me when we need to stop. I mean, we are here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not in a hurry, but I'm just saying I'll use that time. You know. So the same stars here. The first one is that the pole star changes. I'm just summarizing it for you, what we just said. Polaris now, Vega, Brahmarashi, Abhijit, 12,000 BC, 14,000 years ago. Position of the sun at the specific cardinal point changes with respect to background nakshatra. Did I show you that? Right? So in our times, winter is at certain nakshatra, it will be exactly opposite 12,000 years ago, and so on. Okay, so season shifts by one lunar month. Okay, we did that. I showed you exactly 6 months rotation. And this is the foundation for all the Indian archaeoastronomy, the precision of the equinoxes. That's the foundation. If you miss this, if you are confused about this, you will not get the next one. Okay? The one thing that is not mentioned here is the relative positions of the star also change. Okay, and we are going to see that with Arundhati and Vasishta. Okay, so what I just showed you, Mrugashirsha, Purvashada, you saw that, I'm just repeating it here. Okay, so just quickly last one here. So you saw which the seasons are right now, okay. So 21st December, Mrugashirsha Nakshatra, Mrugashirsha lunar month, okay. And we start the Shishir season, the cold season, and then Vasanta. This is now. If I change that to 11,000 BCE, look what happens to season. That is what I showed you here. Exactly the seasons go this way. So here at the bottom was a Shishir. Here it was the winter season. Now what will happen is, the earth was like this. Now its earth is like this, what Arya showed us. Okay. So summer solstice went from here to there. Okay. So I'm moving everything just to show that how they are changing places. Okay. And see, the autumn was there, now it came down. The Vasanta Rutu went up, Sharad Rutu came down, Grishma was here, it's gone there, Hemanta was there, it has come here. You see, the total exchange of Rutus. Alright, we can stop? Okay.